Oh no, they don't have the reading part. I'm gonna have to read this shit. I don't like it. All right, guys, you ready? Get to hear my beautiful voice. Clipping from the New Orleans True Crescent. Author unknown. Newsprint. 4 by 3 inches. Lunar fever takes on New Orleans. The talk of the small town has been the moon this week, as fans of Simon Moore flocked to the stands for their copy of the Luna Diaboli periodical. Readers young and old have been enraptured by the tall tales of the young champion Kevin as he fights the dastardly Cherry, the horrors he's brought to our very own New Orleans that changed the bayou forever. The True Crescent had the opportunity to talk with Mr. Moore about what's next in this thrilling series, and while he can't tell us much, he promised us that there will be a terrible plan to stop Cherry once and for all. We're burning with excitement. Chapter 2. Letter written by Kevin Linus, damaged but intact with envelope. No return or recipient address. 8 by 11 inches. Oh, my man had school paper. Sorry. Mama? Papa? I don't know if you're reading over my shoulder while you're watching over me, but I'm scared. Everything hurts, but I have too many people to protect right now. I can't stop. It's not all bad. I've met so many interesting folks. They fight for me. They fight with me. And they try their best to convince others to fight at my side too. But it's getting harder. I think every person help we get to help us only means that he's gotten two more. And more blood keeps spilling, and more bodies keep piling. I can't help but know it's my fault. I wish I could give up. I wish that I could let the others take care of the rest, but I can't. When I even think about stopping, feels like something is crawling in my head. It whispers, only stops when I keep moving forward. It'll end soon, all of this. We figured it out. Figured out how to kill him, I think. Not sure. But once it's done, maybe I can rest and I can go back home. Maybe I can bring my new friends with me too. It would be nice to sit around the pond and listen to all their stories. But right now, I should focus on this fight so I'll have a chance of taking them there. So, Mom, Papa, please keep watching over me a little while longer. Theme song. Mama, I just killed a man. All right. Chapter 3. Wax recording transcripts. Some parts unintelligible due to the molding. I do not know if I'll be able to replicate the experiment. The pieces will stay the same, but the amounts are a little bit hazy. But this is it. This is everything I've been working towards. So many sacrifices, so many fighting, all for this moment. The sculptor will be nothing to fear. Louisiana will be remembered for ending these incursions once and for all, and I. 3 dots, not enough. We must have the pause. If I were to give a rough estimate, 2 parts hive womb, around 100 milliliters of venom, the essence extracted from several bounties of Mr. Oriska, are a must. From there, I suppose you mix in enough unintelligible. I guess the writing is unintelligible. The inoculation takes care of the rest. How fascinating. Her vocal cords still need some healing. I fear what a pretty thing she was. Such a shame, but at least now she'll have brawn enough to make up for the loss of beauty. Rattling and muffled screams. Ah, my dear, relax and recuperate. When you're ready, you and I will have much work to do. So save your energy. Now, Mrs. Ochenkov, listen very carefully. A young man will. Oh, this one had a reading thing. Anyway. Maybe the next one I can have. Nope. The one that I realized had a reading thing. I didn't play. Anyway. Chapter 4. Clipping from the Louisiana Ladies periodical. Wait. 1903. Author unknown. Cautionary tales from the child folk. Beware of Ochenkov's widow. We at the Louisiana Lady know how hard it can be to get a little rascal to stay in their bed at night or stop them from wandering too far. Give them something that will make them take pause the next time they want to stray. The tale sure to give them goose flesh. The month This month we give you a story sure to keep your kids close to home with Ochenkov's widow. Deep in the night, have you heard the wailing, sobs, and oddly pitched screams that hurt your ears and sets them ringing? Then you just heard the fearsome widow for yourself. Some say that if you catch her gaze, you'll start weeping enough to fill an empty sea. Others say she's stronger than 10 men and could rip away 20 men and a half with her bare hands. The latter must be true, considering herself same responsibility for becoming a. All the newspapers in New Orleans were full of news of Mary when her husband was found massacred, his chest raggedly open and his heart stolen. By the time the body was discovered, Mrs. Mary Ochenkov had long disappeared, but months later something unfathomable transpired. Close to Mary's home, there were several accounts of people hearing cries in the night. None dared to find the source of the cries, none but one, who had an unfortunate close encounter. When you get too close to Mary, her neck creaks like metal, and she lets out a wail that could make a strong man pass out. And then she comes at you with a knife in hand. After that, there were so many more encounters with the widow, but few lived to tell the tale. But those few all have one thing to say: don't go wandering around at night, and don't go talking to any stranger, because Ochenkov's widow might catch you and bring your heart to the brazier. The brazier. Chapter 5. Letter to Kevin Linus. Handwriting matches that of Cersei Elias, handwritten on a scrap of paper. Severe fire damage, reconstructed by an archivist. Kevin, the roots of evil deepen, and after what I learned from Dr. John, I fear we might need to prepare ourselves for the least expected if we are to survive. Resorts to means long denied. We have to understand the nature of this monster, that man, for the evil in him exceeds everything I know. There is still hope. Dr. John was hesitant to tell me until he consulted the bones, and even then I doubt that he was certain. Though Cherry claims his intentions were good, his actions prove otherwise. His total self-absorption and ambitions cloud his own mind, yet make him a strong-willed adversary. But even the toughest rock can be broken, and the mortal shell his soul resides in is not resistant to everything. All things, natural or not, need something to function, for us, or rather for our primal bodies. Blood is the essence of life and death, depending on the treatment. To manipulate one's soul, we must first crack open the shell and reach the essence. For this, we need a treatment. Oleander leaves burned in high quantity at the devil's hour, a poisonous inferno, hellfire, Dr. John called it. If we burn enough herbs, the fumes can weaken him from within, though this alone can't be enough to kill him. But at the very least, the smell of oleander will tell him, those who've taken to this infernal pact, that we will be triumphant, and that they are not the only ones who can ravage with fire. But this is where it becomes unspeakable. The treatment of the oleander requires its leaves to be boiled in the blood of the pure and just, as evil can only be defeated by righteousness. Dr. John is reluctant to let me leave, but Cora promised to carry this letter to you. Until then, be careful. This one reads itself. Let's go.
New captives arrived today, and Cherry brought them.
Oh, they have to actually be recordings. Wax recording transcript entitled Timothy Stone. Some parts of them are unintelligible due to molten. Wait.
Again to the dirt circle where it all began. A brutal thing, the process. Long stakes driven into the eyes to keep them in place, while Cherry calmly covers their body in a clay he prepared. I don't understand how they live so long through it. Then it solidifies, creates a protective layer on the body while the souls ripen, as Cherry says. It takes a few days, but once the soul is ready, the back of the clay structure slits open, like a mouth, a black crevasse, an abyss. But there's never a trace of a body in it. And the sound those things make, it keeps me awake in the nights, gives me unspeakable nightmares. Cherry says he needs those things to reach souls. I don't know dared ask once, and he smirked when I did. Then, his face quickly changed when I asked if the boy's company or other hunters could also reave the souls. He looked me in the eye for a few seconds before saying he had a plan. The next day, he gathered his lot and asked them to help those poor souls, explained that it would leave a mark somewhere on their body. If they managed to get to one of his collection points with those marks, they would gain his favor and unimaginable rewards. That man is a true master of manipulation. Unsurprisingly, hunters once again gave in to their greed, and now I have 437 new names on my ledger. Business is booming. After all, they have no use of the name they'd been called before. He was speaking to that thing, a soul trap. After a few seconds, I could see the mark form on the back of his neck. How do they know about these structures? I don't know what Cherry plans to do. And I don't care as long as I have more names and a hefty price for each. But I need to stay vigilant.
Chapter 7. What's up, Ginger? Clipping from the New Orleans True Crescent. Author unknown. Newsprint 4.5 inches. The citizens of New Orleans worry as the strange fire ignites the bayou. Around 5 o'clock p.m. yesterday, supper was interrupted as smoke began to billow in from all directions toward the city. Large wildfires have engulfed parts of the bayou. Local firefighters are unconcerned as the affected areas are of low importance. The True Crescent does not yet know the causes of these fires, but it is unlikely that they are natural. Poultryman's comments on the fire. Many are concerned for their land and businesses near the wildfire outbreaks, but not poultryman William Moses, whose land is directly affected by the wildfire, who was seen leaving town heavily armed. The True Crescent approached him for a comment. I don't plan on leaving my home, even when I'm dead and gone. Y'all cowards can stay home. You're not wanted, no way, and no how. Moses refused to speak further on the matter. Chapter 8. Luna Diabloli. Simon Moore, the author. Undated, bleached paper. Typewritten 8.5 by 11. Chapter 40. The chaos surrounding the boy and the man stopped in an instant. Guns were lowered and all stood in awe as they listened to Cherry's wretched screams, for Kevin's fingers were sinking into the administrator's skull. The smell of burning oleander hung heavy in the air. There was no blood, only licks of flame as Cherry's skin and bones parted like paper to make way for Kevin's fingers. It had worked. Cherry's invulnerability was broken. Violation was absolutely maddening. Let it in, Kevin said with an eerie calm. Let it in for both of us. Kevin's request was then answered. He coughed up blood as Maryochenkov's hand plunged into his back, her fingers finding purchase on his heart. Snakes creeped around her hand and twined themselves around her arm, sinking their fangs wherever they could, but she paid no attention. If she ever wanted relief, to find her sanity, be in control, get back Peter, she would have fulfilled her task. She squeezed. Pop! The spectators couldn't quite hear it as much as they felt it. Kevin felt his own relief wash over. Ochenkov released the boy's heart, and he fell to the ground. His head, eyes wide open, and a calm smile on his face, landed with a thud to stare at Moses. Cersei cursed. Cherry, kneeling, panting, slowly erupted into a laugh of triumph. He unnaturally sprung to his feet, wafting with the plumes of oleander smoke that moments before had brought him to his knees. Wonderful, my girl. Simply amazing, Cherry said as he grabbed Ochenkov's blood-soaked hand. He lifted it into the air and addressed his attacker, stunned by Kevin's death. To think I was ever worried, Cherry guffawed. No child can stop us. No moon, no sculptor. Our dear Mary's transformation has proven it. This is the power we needed, and it shall only grow from here. Chapter 9. Clipping from the New Orleans True Crescent. Unknown. Newsprint. 3x3 inches. Dozens dead in fire. The number of those killed in the recent wildfire is growing by the day. While many are beyond recognition, the True Crescent can today publish the names of 8 more of the deceased. Louis Burns, Emily Gabb, Murr James, Cadian Landry, Kevin Linus, Leola Skid, Luetta Williams, and Rosanna Winston. And God shall wipe away all the tears from my eyes. There shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall be there any more pain, for the former things are past. Revelations 21:4. A public memorial service will be arranged in the coming week. Chapter 10. This one reads itself. They did a little much on the crackling. So it's different on the label, I guess, than the music. The other one read it exactly word for word. I'll read this one. The devil's in the circle. The devil's in the night. The devil's in the water reflecting the light. The devil is calling you. You'll get what you see because the devil's on fire and the devil's in me. Unless, maybe it was this. I could only understand like that part for the most part. I guess now that we draw the line, the light match up and start in the fire. Embers flare up one more time. There's nothing left to lose, and there's nothing left to hide. I fought back, and I fought hard, and in the circle I got lost. Always painful memory. The devil's in the details, and the devil's in me. Chapter 11. Luna Diabli, manuscript. Author Simon Moore. Undated, bleached paper. Typewritten, 8.5 by 11 inch. Chapter 41. In the cool and in the dark, Kevin opened his eyes. There was nothing but a soft glow. No pain, no cherry, no moon, just him. He took a few cautious steps forward, testing his balance. He started walking. For minutes, days it seemed, but it didn't matter. The calm washed over him. Then 2 silhouettes, a man and a woman. Kevin didn't let himself hope, but he ran to them. Amelia and Robert Linus, his mother and father. Kevin wrapped his arms around them, and they wrapped their arms around him in return. He crumpled to the ground, and they crumpled with him. Is it okay now? Can I be with you again, Mama? Kevin sobbed, his face flushed with every fallen tear. His cries showed what he had hidden for a while, something that to keep going he'd forgotten, his age. My sweet baby, I'm sorry. Amelia kissed the crown of her child's head. There's still more to do, and you're still much too young to be here now. Kevin looked to his mother in confusion. Kevin, you have to go back. You have to see this end to the end. And I don't mean just killing that man, Robert began. It won't end with him. Things will keep on coming until you get to the root of the problem. Kevin's father stroked on his hair. And you're a young scout. There's so much more living left for you to do. Can you hold out just a little longer? Kevin's mother asked him. The boy was quiet for a moment, then nodded. You always told me that I have to keep my word, and I will. With that, Kevin held his parents in a tight hug. They returned it with everything they could muster. We love you. Now go get him. Go get him. Journal of Elise Austin. Brown leather, wrapped in a black cord 5-inch by 7-inch. Date unknown. It's all strange and fascinating. It's sick. A system imperfect that keeps itself running based on a status quo that even the most wicked vow not to break. And then one man enters. He works his way up the metaphorical ladder and nestles himself right into a position at the top, just to tip it all over. I can scarcely say who did it first. Who started the inferno, the hellfire, the devil's hour? There's just too much chaos to get an accurate testimony before the fools burn themselves up. The so-called lunar pack, moon craze, have been lighting the fire with bundles of herbs, like they're smoking something out with the rancid smoke. The infernal pack are doing what they can to destroy the bodies, killed in the crossfire, building pyres that turn folks to ash. I've yet to witness all this myself, but I know that whoever caused the fires are destroying the work of future archaeologists, researchers, and academics, returning history into a black void, an abyss into which many will lose their minds delving into. And all of this because one man who wormed his way in. For now, it doesn't stop me and my work. Chapter 13. A letter from a stack found at Port Rico, all identical, damaged but intact with envelope. No return or recipient address. 8.5 by 11, or 8 by 11. Hello. You do not know me. We haven't met yet, but I am told we will. I hope we speak the same language. I'm told you have experience with monsters and more terrible things. Same things that happened where you are, they've been happening here for a while. Even though there are oceans between us, things that can't be explained. If my friends are to be believed, it is worse here in Louisiana than anywhere else, and it's spreading there. And it's spreading. There are rumors, and spreading. The American Hunters Association wanted to keep this to themselves, but they're losing control, and if someone else doesn't step in, we're all goners. I know you have no reason to care. I know you have no reason to help, but even if a small part of you wants to come to New Orleans, please follow it. We are a small group, but we are growing, and I promise we'll do anything we can to repay your kindness. When you call for me, I will answer. When you are ready, I'll be waiting. May her light keep you. Linus. That one wasn't very well written. 14. Chapter 14. Poster. To the AHA, the correspondence of Elwood Finch. Letterpress, 12 by 18 inches. Oh, legal font size paper. I'm getting serious. To all hunters. It is with great sadness that the Louisiana branch of the AHA can no longer sustain itself. Though it may outlive me, not for long. There are those that would see the sculptor thrive in our home. Our administration cannot respond to correspondence at this time. We must take action against those terrorizing our group. It is no secret that our influence has been waning, and others are paying bounties, providing arms, and have their own belief. This chaos has allowed the problem to fester, and now these damn packs are holding more sway. There is one consolation. They too will soon burn out. Representatives from both eastern and western branches have been called to lend their strength against those who seek to undermine our mission. I fear it will not be enough. Though hidden, our arm of the AHA has always been a pillar of New Orleans, Louisiana, NOLA, and the South itself. I hope some of you will join me in continuing the fight. In service, Dr. Elwood Finch, Director of the AHA. Our final chapter. And it's got a reader. Let's go. All right, another song. For Auld Lang Syne, my dear, for Auld Lang Syne. It doesn't sound like they said that first part. We'll take a cup of kindness yet for Auld Lang Syne. When hell had come, like hell we fought, regardless of the crime. We take the sin with money got for Auld Lang Syne. We stood as brothers side by side as fires died with time. The devil's gone, the heralds sing for Auld Lang Syne. And when the fight has come again, your gun will become mine. For dead men will not shoot again for Auld Lang Syne. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and Auld Lang Syne? Maybe. That was an interesting ending. Last chapter, kind of like the other event. The ending is a bit lackluster, I'd say. But we did it, y'all. We finished the event.